Hello.
Then, now,
Showdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, welcome to episode number 41 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for SmackDown for Friday, September 20th, 2024. We're here, new look SmackDown. And yeah, tonight we have continuation of the build towards Bad Blood, which was 8 days away from now. It's next weekend in Paris. And yeah, tonight we have a 10-man tag team match. The Learning Tree taking on Sharkeo and the Revolution. We also have Jacob Fatu in action. We have Fallon Henley and Aaliyah against Selena Vega and Raquel Rodriguez. And a whole lot more following up from what we saw last week, including the ending of the show where Ricochet seemingly joined up with the Hurt Business. Without any more further ado, though, let's jump straight into tonight's show. We kick off with the New Day and the World Heavyweight Champion Xavier Woods making their way down to the ring. You know, they weren't here last week, and yeah. Woods goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SmackDown. And welcome your new, no, he's not really new, but your reigning and defending WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Your boy, King of the Ring winner, Xavier Woods." Now we are 8 days away from SmackDown's next premium live event, Bad Blood, taking place in a grand old city called Paris. You may have heard of it. And on that show, I have to face off with an old foe of mine, a foe named Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew, he's been a thorn in my side ever since last year when I tried to wrestle the WWE Championship away from him. And I failed on a number of opportunities, and at WrestleMania I failed to overcome Drew McIntyre. It's a thing. No, when Drew McIntyre comes out here and he says, "Woods, you can't beat me," history's proven him to be correct. But history also proved that I would never be world champion. I'd never win King of the Ring, but here I stand, both of those things. So Drew, you and I, we've not really got a lot else left to say to each other. It's you, it's me, we know we've done this dance plenty of times before. So I just say, in 8 days' time, may the best man win. Then Drew interrupts. He's like, "No, absolutely not, Woods. You don't get to just come out here and may the best man win me. No, when you're standing there with my championship. Woods, you went through our entire history together, and it showed that every single time we step into the ring together, I win, and next weekend will be no exception. I don't care how many crowns you put on your head. I don't care how many championships you think you got to defend. I'm walking away from Bad Blood as the World Heavyweight Champion. Just like I should have walked away from Clash at the Castle as World Heavyweight Champion. But I didn't. Because, well, I felt let down, quite frankly, by the people of my homeland. The people of my homeland had given up on me. That's why I lost that night, Woods. Because people gave up on me. Just like people after Bad Blood are gonna give up on you. You can preach this power of positivity all you want to, all three of you. You've been doing it for damn near a decade now. I hear the 10-year anniversary's coming up soon. Congratulations, but you're not going to make it to that because you're still going to be in a hospital bed after what I do to you next Saturday night. But once this is all over, Woods, where do you go from there? You become a star? Do you become a 4-time world champion like Drew McIntyre? Or do you plummet back into the role of being a cheerleader like a Kofi Kingston? And Kofi thanks somebody, he goes, "Hey, let me tell you something right now. You must have forgotten who you're dealing with here, big man. 16 years I've been at this. 16 years here in WWE fighting, and I've been WWE champion. I've made that mountain when nobody ever thought I would. Just like E, just like Woods. But you must be running your mouth talking about some other Kofi Kingston that I don't know about if you're going to say I'm here being a cheerleader. Now sure, right now, me and E, we're backing our boy, Xavier Woods, because that's what we do here on the New Day. We stick by each other. But I can turn it on real good whenever I want to, Drew. So you might want to watch our mouth of yours before you get your teeth kicked down your throat by this cheerleader before you even get the chance to make it to Bad Blood. Drew just laughs and goes, tough guy talk from Kofi Kingston. Huge 2024. Anyway, I've already beaten him, pointing at Big E. I've beaten him countless times, including next weekend. But if you want to prove you're still a tough guy cheerleader, Kofi, come and lay it on me in tonight in this main event. You and I one-on-one tonight. Kofi goes, that sounds like a damn plan. I'll see you out there. So yeah, Kofi Kingston, Drew McIntyre is our main event tonight. Yeah. Again, promo segments between Drew McIntyre and Xavier Woods, they're just to the point because they've said a lot over the last year to each other. And yeah, it's time for fighting, and Drew's going to fight Kofi Kingston tonight. We then cut backstage. Ariana Grace and Ava Raine chatting when Charlotte Flair walks in. She goes, I suppose you thought that was funny what you did last week, huh? And Ariana sort of looks shocked, like, whatever I did, Charlie, I'm sure I didn't mean it. She goes, no, not you. Why'd you, Ava, tell Dakota that Bad Blood is going to be just me and her, and we're not going to have anybody else in my corner? And Ava goes, why, is there a problem with that? She goes, no. I mean, I can beat a lousy champion like Dakota Kai any day of the week, but, I just thought you'd like to run something like that by me first before you go, making these big, bold declarations on behalf of the Royal Dynasty by yourself. Ava goes, well, I don't see what the problem is. If you're so confident you're going to beat Dakota, why don't you prove it? As you said last week, Charlotte, we're not here to be friends, we're here to get ahead. And you're not going to get ahead if you spend your entire career using people to win matches for you, especially people less experienced than you. So I goes, it's not like I need you there. It's just that you've been stepping out of line by doing things for me that I don't want you to do. But I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself, because tonight you're going to go one-on-one with Dakota Kai. And you just soften her up for me for Bad Blood. If it goes great, a match with the world champion, I look forward to it. $79 rate opening match. It is the 10-man tag, Shark KO and the Revolution taking on the Learning Tree. Duke last week poured his heart out to everybody about his gambling addiction and how, he's fighting to make money here in WWE in the Learning Tree and Chase U. And Jericho basically said, you're out if you lose, so effectively you either go on the streets or you get deported. low key is the stipulation. And Duke, he does rack up. He hits a big... I don't know what Duke's finisher would be in this world, because I know he does like the elbow in real life, but I'm imagining some sort of slam. The move I'm imagining in my head is the I can't remember what it's called. Big Cash used to do it, where you pick him up, you swing him round and rock bottom. I can't remember what it's called, but that move. He lays out. It says Rufus took the pin. I imagine it more on Nebo because Calvin Tankman is a big man, and that would look more impressive. So, yeah, he hits it on Nebo. And then before he can go to the pin, Jericho demands to be tagged in. And, Duke clearly doesn't want to do it. But in the end, he knows what's at stake. He does reluctantly tag in Jericho. Jericho slides him with his big stupid grin on his face. He nails a Judas effect, and he pins Nebo to win the match for the Learning Tree. 59 for Duke, 38 for Bodie, 61 for Brad Sawyer, 63 for Kylan Rogers, 75 for Jericho, 58 for Rufus, 84 for Nebo, 82 for Buster, 82 for Ilya, and 79 for Randy. Nebo Barnes with the highest rating of the entire match. This has been happening a lot recently. This week alone, Giovanni Vinci outscored AJ Styles and Montez Ford. Naomi outscored Sasha Banks. And now Buster Gates, not Buster, Nebo Barnes has scored the highest here, which I guess other than Ilya, I'd probably say would score higher because he's Ilya Dragunov, But I'm not sure what his deal was tonight. But yes, the Learning Tree do win. And you've got to think, unfortunately, that might be a big win for the Learning Tree in regards to the tag team titles. We then cut backstage. Kayla is my guest at this time. She is the Women's Liberty Champion, Candice LeRae. Candice appears. She goes, Candice, your reign as a Liberty Champion so far, you've been facing any adversity that's come up to you and gone into your way, but you enter unprecedented territory next weekend in Paris when you have to defend your Liberty Championship against a woman we don't really know too much about. An undefeated woman here in WWE so far, known as the Megasis of Queendom Omega after she won the breakout tournament on Heat on Monday. Candice sort of just sighs. She's like, I should have known that eventually we'd get roped back up in this business. Okay, and I envy Dakota, because Dakota right now, she's got her own thing going on. She's got Charlotte to deal with and the Royal Dynasty. But this new monster that Cammy's brought in, I'm getting flashbacks to last year when Cammy tried to take over this brand and it was up to me and Dakota and the rest of us to stop him. But it must be like a Hydra of Queendom. You cut one off, 3 more heads spawn in, and this head is the biggest and baddest of them all. Which is why I've got to nip it in the bud before it can grow. And the Megasis so far, she's been unbeaten. She's been impressive from what I've seen of her. But it is that inexperience against someone like me, the Women's Champion, that will end up costing her at Bad Blood, because I know I've forgotten more than a woman as young and brash as the Megasis knows Kayla. And then she does turn around and she's face to chest with the Megasis. And she sort of like awkwardly looks up at her. And Cammy slides in. She's like, You've always been a fascinating one to me, Candice. Dakota, she was the great leader who took us down. Tegan and Piper, they were the Judas that left the group. But you've always intrigued me. There's been something about you that I can't help but admire. And right now, you said a lot of things that I'm sure you wanted to hear yourself. I'm sure you were convincing yourself more than anything. Because, like you said, you've got all the experience in the world. We can study exactly what you're up to. There's moves in your locker I know you have that you can't even hit on the Megasis. But our arsenal, what we know, we're only just getting started. And that makes a woman like the Megasis impossible to prepare for. Cat's like, yeah, well, we'll see, won't we? And then she leaves. And then Julia and Yoko rush up to Cammy. And they start shouting at her in Japanese. She's like, what? What do you mean attacked? They rush off. They enter the Queendom locker room. And Ember Moon and Kairi are in there just beating up Utami and Saya. And they do eventually, fight back, because the other Queendom girls are in there as well. And then Kairi and Ember Moon do leave. But, they have caused damage to the Queendom locker room as well. Utami's getting up. She's spitting fire at him in Japanese. Saya, she's behind Utami, being baby-sistered, basically. But yes, a lot going on here. And then cut to Adam Pearce in his office when Jericho walks in with Ozzy Open by his side. He goes, "Hey, Adam." "Hi." He goes, "Chris, how can I help you?" He goes, "Boy, I know you saw out there tonight the Learning Tree with a huge victory, all thanks to me. My guidance, taking Ozzy Open, Kylan Rogers, and Brad Sawyer, and my star pupil Bodhi to new heights already." And Pierce is like, "Well, I saw you." "Never mind, Chris. What do you want?" He goes, "Well, I don't know if you noticed, Adam, but tonight, in that 10-man tag team match on the other side, Randy Orton and Ilya Dragunov, they were there. And they're the current SmackDown WWE Tag Team Champions of the world, Adam Pearce. He goes, correct, Chris. Now, where are you going with this? Well, what I see is Regal and his Creed brothers, they're busy with doing stuff with Daniel Bryan right now. Pretty deadly. They've got that Money in the Bank briefcase. The Labyrinth boys, I don't know where they're at. They're looking for some new holy grail. What I'm saying is, there's only one tag team here ready for a tag team championship opportunity at Bad Blood Premium Live event in Paris, and that's my boys, Kyle Rogers, Brad Sawyer of Aussie Open. Pierce goes, I really, really don't want to admit this, but unfortunately, Chris, you make some valid points. So, at Bad Blood, it will be Brad Sawyer and Kyle Rogers of Aussie Open challenging JRKO for the WWE Tag Team Championships. He goes, great, just what I wanted to hear. Thanks, Adam. He goes, oh, Chris, before you go, your star power it's undeniable on SmackDown recently. He goes, oh boy, thanks, Adam. He goes, but we need to challenge that star power next week. You need to help the brand, Chris. I've got a match that will do just that. Chris Jericho versus Randy Orton. Jericho's face sort of drops. He goes, come again, Adam. Chris Jericho, Randy Orton, next week here on SmackDown. Bye, Chris. Now you may leave. 73. Tag match. Sure. Fallon Henley, Aaliyah, taking on Zelina Vega and Raquel Rodriguez. Last week, Aaliyah joined Fallon Henley's course of Fallon trying to take her influence to get more opportunities for women on SmackDown. And, yeah, in this tag team match, Zelina Vega's taking most of the heat. Obviously, then Raquel gets the hot tag. She mows through both Fallon Henley and Aaliyah. She hits the Tejana bomb on Aaliyah. Fallon breaks it up. And then, she does eventually get 2-on-1 worked over. Zelina gets back on the apron. She's, stomping on the steps, trying to get Raquel all fired up. She goes for the hot tag, and Zelina hops off. And Raquel looks shocked. Fallon Henley pins Raquel Rodriguez with that enziguri. And, yeah. 65 for Zelina, 68 for Raquel, 60 for Fallon Henley, and a 69 for Aaliyah. Aaliyah, again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Aaliyah is the highest rated wrestler in this match. Zelina was scoring really well a while ago. Don't know why she fell off here, but she should be back soon in a minute. Because after the match, Zelina raises the arms of Fallon Henley and Aaliyah, and she grabs a microphone. She goes, Fallon, last week, I admired you. You were making your own steps to create opportunity and influence for the women of this division. Women that have been long overlooked for a long, long time. And Raquel, hon, it's nothing personal, but this is an agenda and a movement that I can get behind. Because this, Fallon Henley, Aaliyah, Zelina Vega, is the opportunity you've all been waiting for in the SmackDown Women's division. Come everybody not tied to a queendom law. So everybody not liberating the show. Everybody not named Charlotte Flair or anyone of her ilk. This is where the girls who really want to make a statement lie. You don't have to join us. You don't even have to like us. But you damn sure have to respect us. Because we have created all that for you. We are the influence. The fatal influence. Yeah, Zelina felt like the right person. I wanted their third member. Zelina felt like the promo here. Because she's both in the game and IRL. She could be the good promo worker here. Plus, she, out of all the women on SmackDown, she felt the most. Well, there is one other that I considered. We'll see her later on. But Zelina, felt the most like. So yeah, Van Henley, Aaliyah, Zelina Vega. Aaliyah will still be, doing Grayson Waller-related shenanigans. That's not done. But, this is our version of Fatal Influence here. Because JC James over on ECW. In the Paragon. Even though I do like Fan and JC as a team. So if she was here on SmackDown, it would be Zelina, Fan, and JC. But she's not. So it isn't. We then see William Regal and the Creed brothers backstage. Because, boys, last week there was a huge opportunity for us. I respect the hell out of Daniel Bryan. I felt like I helped train the boy. And I knew that you and him and Pete would tear it up. Another man that I respect so much in Pete Dunne. But you proved that you are the top prospect tag team here on SmackDown. And I know Jericho may have just jumped the line, but there's a tag team championship in your future, that's for sure. And I'm pretty deadly scooting. Oh, sorry. Yes, boy. Anyway, it's not like us to join this stinky gym, stinking of sweat and just putrid, but we could overhear you speaking, Mr. Regal, about, future tag team championship opportunities, and that right here in this little briefcase, we've got exactly that, and last week we made a mockery out of Johnny Gargano, and I feel we're definitely on track to be the next tag team champions. And then Regal goes, isn't there another gentleman who should be by your side? And Tony's like, Brooks is on... Let's say he's in timeout right now because he disrespected us. He embarrassed us last week of losing to a small little pipsqueak like Johnny Gargano. Then the Labyrinth boys do walk in. They go, hey, kind of overhearing about tag team championship opportunities. I know we, might be barking up the wrong tree given we've not really been, too hot since coming to SmackDown. But there's always time to turn that around, And myself, Nathan... We're just waiting for that one opportunity, that one chance to break out. And that could be against you or Mister's Money in the Bank over here. Then Nick was like, oh, boys. Listen here, I understand the tag team division on SmackDown is getting hot and heavy. There's plenty of this all to go around. And I have plans for the SmackDown tag team division coming up after Bad Blood that you're all going to want to be involved in. So I just say, rest, stay alert. And be prepared to grasp any opportunity to rise up the ranks here on SmackDown that you want. And they leave. Well, Aldous leaves. But yeah, a bunch of tag teams. So I felt we have this angle a lot. But because one thing I will admit, even myself as Booker of the Year, greatest Booker in the world, have struggles with is I find it really hard to start tag team rivalries that don't revolve around the championship. I know the Cyclone and the Creeds had one recently that I thought was really fun. And then obviously we had the the pretty deadly Omar Sanois Law with the briefcase and the perfumes and shit. But other than meme shit like that, it's my one glaring Achilles weakness is I cannot get tag team feuds. So any tag team that isn't in the title picture is sort of on ice. From anyone as low as, fucking Jeff Jarrett and Cameron Grimes, or the Labyrinth, or the D'Angelo family guys, to even when the Cyclone were still together. I mean, they're still together now, but Ricochet's in that business. But in their prime, and even the New Day sometimes, if you're not feuding for the belts, you're sort of frozen. And I kind of want to change that because that's how you create a healthy division. We then cut back. Ember Moon and Kyrie saying, they're in their locker room, throwing shit around in anger. Candice is like, yeah, hey, relax, it's fine. Queendom, they do this shit. Ember's like, they do. I don't know how you understand how you're so calm, Candice. You've been dealing with this stuff for a year and a half. Okay, I've only been back here for 3 months and it's already getting on my last nerves. So, me and Kyrie, we took actions into our own hands. Especially after, the way that Cammy treated Kyrie and put her down all those weeks ago. So, Miss Money in the Bank and your little best friend / baby sister, whatever she is, your little sidekick. You want to prove something. You want to prove that you're next in line to be the world champion. You want to prove that Saya belongs in your queendom. How about it? Bad Blood next weekend. Ember Moon and Kairi Sane against you two. Speaking of tag teams and need to build non-rivalry tag team feuds, this isn't going to help at all. But Omos and Otis against OTM. I set this up last week. I was like, oh, it's going to be a random fun mid-card tag match. It doesn't even really happen, because 2 minutes into the match, Jacob Fatu storms in and beats everybody up. 75 for Otis, for what it's worth. 75 for Otis, 67 for Omos, 41 for Lucian Price, and a 40 for Bronco Nima. And, Jacob Fatu probably spears Otis through a barricade or something. And then Tyler Breeze comes. He doesn't come out with Tyler Breeze, but he comes in afterwards and he starts cackling. He's like, ha ha ha, see, the Samoan werewolf was laid waste to all these idiots that dare step in his way. And now I'm gonna be the man to guide him to new heights here in WWE. And then Jacob Fatu sort of just like glares as he says that, like, what the fuck you on about, brother? And then Omos does get into the ring, and he stares down with Jacob Fatu. You thought you took him out, but you didn't. Mr. Tall and Sexy has risen. And he grabs Tyler Breeze and he throws Tyler Breeze across the ring. And Jacob Fatu sort of just watches as he does that, because he doesn't give a fuck about Tyler Breeze, basically. And Breeze like, you gonna let him do that, Jacob? Huh? The man who's gonna guide you to the World Championship, you're gonna let Omos, of all people, throw him around? Think about what it would mean to take down a 7'3" giant. You can do that, because you're that dominant, Jacob. But that is like, he does get ticked off there. He's like, hey, I could beat up Omos. So then we do get an impromptu, well, it's not impromptu, because we did say Jacob Fatu would be in action this week. But it's against Omos. Gets a 67. Jacob Fatu pins him with a Samoan drop in 4 minutes. He gets a 94 and a 65 for Omos. Yeah, a 94 for Jacob Fatu. He sure is rocking and rolling right now. But yeah, big win for him. Literally a big win for him. Because Omos, we love him. We love Mr. Tall and Sexy, but he's a comedy character, basically. His time as a viable... I feel like this about him in real life as well. Like, I know he's never on TV in real life, which I think is stupid, because, surely you can find something for him to do. But also, his time as, like, this big imposing threat is, like, over. So, he can just be the fun... I know the idea of fun giants has got a stigma from, Vince era, but... yeah, just he's got character, he's got personality, he's fun, he's a ledge. Put him on TV. He doesn't have to be dominant and evil. He'd probably be more over if he wasn't. But yeah, he was used here for his size to put over Jacob Fatu, who is not yet done with being a monster on television. Angelo Dawkins promo. He's in his own little private locker room. He goes, last week, it was time for me to speak my mind on my position in here on SmackDown, and I got cut off by a bunch of people who figured that their stuff was more important than what Angelo Dawkins, the Golden Prophet, had to say. And to that I say, well, you're probably right, because why would anybody care what the Golden Prophet Angelo Dawkins has to say, because I'm a loser. Tez, that's a winner. Sure, this week he came up short in that triple threat match, but Tez, he has goals. He wants to become WWE Champion. But me? My goals, they ain't even that high. I'm here to make an impact, I'm here to make a statement, and I'm here to prove every single one of you wrong, who's laughing at me right now, and saying that I'm the weak link of the Street Profits, who's saying that I was holding Tez back. Because that couldn't be further from the truth. The only man that Angelo Dawkins is holding back right now is Angelo Dawkins. And recently, I thought I'd found myself. And I did for a little bit. I beat Carmelo Hayes. I hung in there for former world champion. But that's not enough. It's not enough to just hang in there. You gotta win. You gotta prove you belong in there. So that's what I'm gonna do. Whether it be here, on ECW, or on Raw, you will learn to respect and remember my name. Not the Street Profits, not Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins. Sami Zayn comes to the ring. And he goes, well, what is going on, people? Last week I wasn't here last week, but I heard there was a little bit of controversy surrounding my United States Championship and things that are going on regarding my championship. Nick Aldis, he hit me up after the show and he told me that I'm going to be defending my championship in a rematch at Bad Blood against the former champion, Neville. A man who I respect a whole lot, even though he may be a bit of an asshole. But me and him go way back. But I saw the circumstance of which it went down. Grayson Waller and Neville were having a match last week and Waller got himself counted out. Cowardice, absolutely. But would he have done that had he been made aware that it was a championship number one contenders match? I don't know. That's why I want to speak to him. So Grayson Waller, get out here right now. Instead of Grayson Waller, out comes Baron Corbin. Or Sammy, don't waste your time talking to that idiot Grayson Waller, okay? Talk to me. You see, Bad Blood, next weekend, is taking place in Paris, France. Now, if there's one thing I know about the French fans, is that they love Baron Corbin. And right now, I don't have a match for that show, and I'm going to let my fans down. But, Sammy, if there's one man who does deserve a shot at that United States Championship that's not currently in that match, it's not Grayson Waller, not that asshole, that little pest. It's me. Then Waller does come out and goes, oi, Corbin, mate, I thought we had a deal last week, lad. We both have the same goal here, and now you're out here throwing me under the bus for what? To pander to some French fans? Who cares about them, lad? This isn't about fans. I want to make fans happy. This is about justice. I want to make the superstars of SmackDown happy. And, most importantly, making Grayson Waller happy. And the only thing to do that is to reverse last week's bullcrap decision to keep this number one contender stipulation hidden from me and putting me in the match at Bad Blood. Because what makes you think you deserve a shot in that match? You should have just beat Neville last week instead of running away like a coward. Because I was not a coward, I don't know if you noticed, but my hot, sexy girlfriend Aaliyah was part of a really, really big movement last week. I was checking up on her, She could have got attacked by a bunch of people who are against her ideals, Happens. Because what are you on about? Then Nick Aldis goes, gentlemen, please. I think I've come up with a solution to solve our issues here. So Sami Zayn, the United States Champion, right now, as it stands, you will defend the United States Championship at Bad Blood in Paris next weekend against the challenger, the former champion, Neville. Because that's bullshit, Because let me finish. But as much as I may disagree with Grayson Waller, and I believe that every match is must-win here on SmackDown, I can understand, partly, a teeny tiny little bit, his frustrations. And Corbin, you've beaten Grayson Waller a ton of times, in the ring, outside the ring, at a water park. You also do deserve to get another one-on-one shot at Sami Zayn, or not one-on-one shot, but a fair shot at Sami Zayn after your last encounter, was marred in chicanery. So next week, if you two, gentlemen, Waller and Corbin, want to rip each other's heads off, it'll have to wait a week. Because if you've got the same idea of wanting to get into this championship match, you're going to have to coexist and win for each other. Because next week, Baron Corbin and Grayson Waller will team up to face Sami Zayn and Neville. And if Corbin and Waller, you can coexist and you can get the job done next week, you'll not only have earned yourself a spot in that match for the United States Championship at Bad Blood, but also your tag team partner, and it will be a fatal 4-way for the WWE United States Championship at Bad Blood. And then Corbin and Waller sort of like glare over each other. Sammy just chuckling, like, you know, hey, there's no way these two are going to be able to coexist. But Sammy may be laughing too soon because his partner is Neville. So we then see the Revolution backstage. You know, Buster's angry in his locker room. And Ebo goes, Buster, I'm sorry, you know. I goes, shut it. For once, I'm not angry at you, Buster. Nope, he is Buster. Nebo. You did come up short tonight. But I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at this parasite, Chris Jericho. You know, I'm going to get a bit graphic here, boys, but you know, after a hard, long day, you come at home, you want to just empty yourself and then go to bed. But you try and you flush and you flush and you flush, and that turd just will not go away. That's Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is that turd that will not flush. I thought we had him. I thought he was gone. But he's poked his little head back up out of the drain 5 years later. And he's getting involved in my business, A-list business, world famous business. So, I hear next week he's got a little match with an old friend named Randy Orton. Now Randy and Ilya, they're their own thing. We'll get focused on them, don't you worry about that. But it'd be a shame if somebody paid Chris a little visit next week. $70, sure, we'll take that. Ava Ray and Dakota Kai singles match. Dakota does win in 7 minutes with a scorpion kick. A3 for Dakota Kai, 6-9 for Ava Rain. Nice little win for the champion heading into Bad Blood. And after the match, you know, after Ava's wrestled the whole match by herself, then Charlotte and Ariana come out. I mean, Ariana is just sticking by Charlotte. She's like not rebelling against Ava by herself. She's just, you know, a meat rider. You know, Ava like gets to her feet. Dakota's in one corner holding the belt, like watching her. And Charlotte's on the outside going, good job. You know, you want to do it all by yourself and you lost. Great. Now you understand why I'm so angry at you? Now, come on. Now, get your ass out here. Get to the back. I think you've learned your lesson. And Dakota sort of like watches her on as she leaves. She's like, huh, you know, that's really, you know, that reminds me a lot of things. We then cut to the ring. We go to ads, we come back. And the Hurt Business are in the ring. MVP, or I say the Hurt Business, MVP, Bobby Lashley, Damon Cameron, Ronnie Hughes. MVP's the front, he goes Kane. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, last week you saw what everybody already knew, and that's the business in the Hurt Business. It's never been more booming than it's booming right now. The almighty Bobby Lashley is going to tear a hole through the former World Heavyweight Champion Swerve Scott at Bad Blood. And now Swerve, like I've said before, in another lifetime, this could have been you and I up here. But it's not, because you're not smart enough to cash the check when the check needs cashing. You're sticking to loyalty by Lord Bando, who's got you nowhere further than being world champion, but under the Hurt Business, you'll be everywhere. And when the almighty Bobby Lashley is world heavyweight champion, you'll see that. But enough about the almighty Bobby Lashley. Let's move on to more important business. Well, I say more important, more recent, more urgent business that needs attending to. And that is to please welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on your feet for the newest member of the Hurt Business, the Prince of Flight himself, Ricochet. Ricochet comes out, he's in a suit, looking dapper. And he takes the mic. And he goes, 5 years. You can do a lot in 5 years. You know, it's half a decade. You could do a lot, but you could also do so much more. It's, at one time, on one hand, a lot of time, on another, no time at all. That's how long I've been a part of the WWE main roster. 5 years. And all I've done in 5 years is be a circus act. I've been that guy who they throw out there when they need a good opponent for somebody because they know I'm going to steal the damn show every time I do. I've been that guy who they give a change opportunity to because they want to make the championship more prestigious. I'm the guy they throw out there to get the crowd on their feet after their chosen top guys don't connect. Because I'm one of a kind. Over the last few years, here in WWE, people seem to have forgotten that. Because, you know, it's the way of the world, it's the nature of the beast here in WWE. You know, the more new superstars who debut, the further and further down the pecking order you get pushed. But because I got pushed so far down, people seem to forget that Ricochet is not just this great athlete who can get the crowd on their feet, who can have a great match. I'm a once-in-a-generation talent. Your favorite wrestler can't do half the stuff that I can do. And you sort of just all took that for granted, and I was supposed to be the good superhero who could fly and wow the kids in the crowd. And don't get me wrong, for a while there, that was fun. And I accepted that role, because it's a role I'm damn good at, if I do say so myself. But a guy like me needs more. A guy like me needs to rise to the top. And there's no better way to rise to the top than to cash in right now in the fastest rising group here on SmackDown. The Hurt Business. A group who I've had my past with on the other side. But this new Hurt Business, they're different. They're hungry. And just as MVP said, soon, this man, Bobby Lashley, will be the World Heavyweight Champion, and with it, I will also be a champion. Because it's time to remind the world who the hell Ricochet is. And that's not a tag team partner, that's not a high-flying opening act. That's a generational talent. One of a kind. Never to be seen again. Bronson Reed then comes out. He goes, Trevor, it's been like a week. I've been trying to call you. And, you know, you haven't been answering. So, you know, I hate to air this publicly, but, you know, what's going on, man? You know, why the Hurt Business? Just, why the Hurt Business, says Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed wants to know why somebody would break up the Cyclone to join the Hurt Business. But it's not me you should be asking that question to, is it, Bronny? You know, I said earlier on, the Hurt Business right now is booming more than it's ever boomed before. Do you know why part of that reason is? It's because the old Hurt Business tried to lift you up to not be dead weight. And it didn't work. You tanked stocks of the Hurt Business. Just like you tanked the stocks of me. Now, you're a decent hand. You're a big guy, got a cool finisher. But you're no damn Ricochet. You're just a rip-off Australian wanting to dress like Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow and all these other big guys, okay? You want to be the new one of them. Well, I'm the first ever Ricochet, one and only. It's in my theme song. So, Bronson, as far as I'm concerned, you can either get with the deal or get out of my face. Bronson Reed, he sort of just sits there, he stares at Ricochet. MVP says it's not too late. He sort of slides a business card in front of Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed takes it. And he reads it, he reads the front, he reads the back. And he just looks at MVP and he just tears it in half for a big pop. And then the Hurt Business lay out Bronson Reed. Not Ricochet. Ricochet doesn't get involved in the actual violence. Damon Kemp, Ronnie Hughes, and Bobby Lashley lay him out. And then Ricochet goes up top, he hits a shooting star press on Bronson Reed. He then, he rips off his suit, or he takes his suit off. He's got his ring gear on, black and gold Hurt Business ring gear. And we are going to get the debut match of Ricochet and the Hurt Business coming up next. He's going to take on Angel Garza. Gets a 93. With lack of chemistry, that is, by the way. But yeah. Ricochet does pick up the win. With a 630. 83 for Ricochet and 83 for Angel Garza. Now, something I did want to say about this. I feel like, and I've definitely fallen into this trap. People pigeonhole Ricochet into the spot that I've just had him rant about being in, because of his moveset. You're like, oh, he's Ricochet. How can you boo someone who wrestles like that? But like that's what we're going for here. Like, he knows he's good. Like, he's a dickhead who can do flips, and like it pisses you off that he can do them flips, but he can do them. After the match, the Hurt Business continue the attack on Angel Garza. Bronson Reed, I imagine, has been out there, at ringside. Like, they laid him out, and like I can't remember. They definitely did this once. Where, I know what it was. They did it back when Buddy Murphy first joined Seth Rollins. Like, he wrestled Matt Aleister Black on Raw, and then he lost, and he was like sat up against the barricade after the segment, and he was there for like throughout a match or two. So after they lay out Bronson Reed, we'll see Bronson Reed still laid out, or like, yeah, just laid out during the match with Ricochet and Angel Garza. And then after the match, when Garza's getting attacked, we do see Bronson Reed rise to his feet. But he's sort of conflicted as to whether or not he wants to go in there and attack Ricochet, because that is his tag team partner. And the other three members of the Hurt Business are, wearing him down. MVP does order Ronnie Hughes and Damon Kemp to go after Bronson Reed. Bronson does, he'll happily fight those two, because, he doesn't like the Hurt Business, but he just doesn't want to touch Ricochet. And it's Lashley and Ricochet laying waste to Angel Garza in the ring. Whose house? Out comes Swerve. Steel chair. He takes the chair to Big Bobby. Bobby staggers out of the ring. He then hits the driver, I can't remember what it's called, on Ricochet. He goes to hit the house call kick on him, and then MVP pulls Ricochet to safety. Yeah, Swerve coming to the aid here, but Bronson Reed's still conflicted. He's got no problem throwing hands with Damon Kemp, Ronnie Hughes, and Lashley, but Ricochet is his friend and tag team partner, so yeah. We then see a Fatal Influence walking through the hallway. When Grayson Waller walks up, he goes, "Hey, babe, big stuff going on in both our lives right now. I'm a big fan of this Fatal Influence. You're really creating something new for the women here on SmackDown. And get this, I've got him with Corbin next week, but I've got to win it because I get a shot to become a United States champion. And then when we're both champions, we're going to dominate SmackDown." And Cena goes, he just sort of like looks at him in disgust as Aaliyah and Waller kiss, or whatever, and Waller leaves. And Cena goes, "I'm not going to get all up in your personal business, but leave that man out of our stuff, okay? See him on your own time." She's like, "Sure, fine, I can balance two lives." And Shayna Baszler and Carmella walk past in their ring gear, getting ready for a match. And Carmella goes, "Oh, don't mind us, we're just getting ready for our match later on, coming up next, actually. And we thought we'd check out the hot new attraction here on SmackDown. You think you're the influence, you think you're creating opportunities for other women. You're not doing any of that, are you? You're creating opportunities for yourself, because you weren't good enough to get opportunities for yourself as it was before." And so he goes, "Oh, Carmella's piping up. Okay, it's weird, You're the exact sort of person who could use an opportunity right about now, considering, it's 2024 and they're still around. It's not 2018 anymore, Carmella. Hot new superstars are on the rise here, and you're a relic of the old. And then Shayna sort of just gets into Zelina's face. She goes, hey, I'm leaving. We're leaving. We've done our business tonight. And they walk off. We then move to the ring for Fear the Fabulous against Zeta Steel and Kaya Saint of the Learning Tree. And they do pick up the win. Shayna submitting Zeta Steel with a Kira Fuda clutch. 83 for Shayna Baszler, 71 for Carmella, 33 for Zeta, 22 for Kaya. Yeah, nice little tag team win for Carmella and Shayna, who appear to have issues with fatal influence. I'll definitely call them Fatal Attraction at least once. But Fatal Influence is the name. We then see Ava Raine backstage. And Dakota Kai walks up to her. She goes, hey, I don't know if you get told this a lot, because it's Charlotte, but I'll do it. You did a good job out there tonight. I was expecting a lot out of you, but you really brought your A game. You're actually a lot better than I thought. I saw potential in you out there. Yeah, because I feel like people don't see that from me because of who I am and who my father is and who my family is. They sort of think that I'm not going to be... I'm just untalented and I'm not going to lie on front. It gets to me. And I've considered, She was like, considered what? You don't mean you've considered stopping? And Ava's like, but I don't know. It does get to you, is all I'll say. And he goes, listen, I know more than anybody else that shit can get you to feel bad about yourself, but as the world champion, I'm telling you right now, you did a good job tonight. And quite frankly, if I do say so myself, Charlotte she reminds me a lot of Io, in that she doesn't particularly care for you or Ariana for that matter, but she's a lost cause. It's about Charlotte. It's about her brand. Go find who you are. Don't let Charlotte tell you are. You know who you are. You've got that blood in you. Yeah, I do know who the hell I am. And Charlotte flies in and attacks Dakota Kai. Lays her out. Ava Raine does join in. And the two of them assault Dakota Kai backstage. And Charlotte, hugs Ava. And, laughs and goes, oh, no, I knew I could prey on your little kind heart. Being a kind-hearted person, that's not what a champion is all about. You're damn right. All I care about is me and championship glories, and that's why I'm a 12-time champion, you're only a 2-time champion. And that's why at Bad Blood, your reign comes to an end. And Charlotte leaves. Ava sort of looks down at Dakota, then does follow Charlotte out. Then cut to Adam Pearce in his office, when Daniel Bryan walks in. Says, hey Pierce, I've been speaking to Pete and the rest of my guys, and I let them all down a lot recently. So I'm coming to you tonight to ask next week for a match here on SmackDown. And Carmelo Hayes goes, hey, but look who it is, Daniel Bryan, Mr. Yes, 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 the GOAT himself. He's washed. He can't hang anymore. That's why he's got to come and beg and plead for a match on SmackDown next week. Hey, Brian, you should have hung it up last year when I put your ass in the dirt back in the Elimination Chamber. Do you remember that? You were champion number 10 that I beat? Because my debut here on SmackDown, it was incredible. Because, this year's not going so well, is it, though? Mel goes, I'll have you know, I can shut your damn mouth whenever I damn well please. In fact, Pierce, give this man a match next week. Give him a match with me. And he walks off. So Daniel Bryan, Carmelo Hayes, next week. And speaking of next week, we've got a couple of big matches set for that show. It is the go-home show for Bad Blood. So it'll be in some sort of French city. I don't know if it'll actually be Paris. It might be Lyon or Marseille or somewhere. But somewhere in France. And yeah, we've got a pretty stacked show, including, what year are we in? Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho. Jericho's victory in the 10-man tag tonight got him the Aussie Open the shot at the Tag Team Championships at Bad Blood. But before then, it's going to be Jericho and Orton one-on-one. Plus, as we just learnt, Daniel Bryan and Carmelo Hayes had a brief spat in Adam Pearce's office. So next week they will go one-on-one on SmackDown. And then 2 tag team matches, the first being Sami Zayn, the United States Champion, and Neville. Can they coexist against the other team that may or may not be able to coexist? That being Grayson Waller and France's favourite son, Baron Corbin, coming home next week with big US title opportunities on the line there. And another tag team out was Damon Kemp and Ronnie Hughes of the Hurt Business take on Swerve Scott and Big Bronson Reed after, that big brawl earlier on tonight. Plus, moving on to Bad Blood, we've got a couple of new matches set for that show tonight, including a women's tag team match. As Ember Moon and Kairi Sane, they're looking to get one over on Queendom Omega, and they'll face off against Miss Money in the Bank, Utami Hayashishita, and her bestie / baby sister, Saya Kamatani, in tag team action. Plus, another tag team match, this time for the WWE Tag Team Championships, as Shah KO, Ilya Dragunov and Randy Orton defend against the Learning Trees Aussie Open, Kylan Rogers and Brad Sawyer. And we learned this one on Monday, technically, but Candice LeRae will make the next defense of her Women's Liberty Championship at Bad Blood, and it will be against the undefeated Megasis of Queendom. 79 rated main event. Bleh. Whatever. Kofi and Drew McIntyre defeats Kofi Kingston with a Claymore. 81 for Kofi, 79 for Drew. And, yeah, he beat Big E. He beat Kofi. Let's see if he can defeat Xavier Woods next weekend for the World Heavyweight Championship. But that is the end of the show. Not really much else to add after that match. Which gets us a 79. Whatever. Sure. What matters more about you for the show? Do let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you on the other side now for Velocity. A pretty simple Velocity this week. It's, a bit of, last week's was also a bit simple, but next week's is the big Velocity show. Our main event is the Speed Championship match between Oro Mensah and Javon Evans. But our opening match gets a fucking 88. Roosh might be him. Him and Danger Zone have a 88 rated match. Roosh does pin him with La Lanza in 14:57. 67 for Danger Zone, 85 for Roosh. But yeah, what a fucking opening match that was. And it is next week. It will be the unnamed group of, Top Gun, fucking Danger Zone and Top Flight taking on the champions LA Extreme for the Trio Championships. And yeah. 71 for the next match. Johnny Gargano and Leon Slater. Gargano wasn't on SmackDown this week, so, he sort of comes down to Velocity for a couple of times just to get an established name on the show, He beats Leon Slater for Hurt Stoner in 13:44. They don't click, which is a bit unfortunate, but the match still gets a 71. He gets a 71 himself. Leon gets a 49. 60 rated match. Another win for Roderick Strong. He picks up a win over Uriah Connors. 12:42 for Stronghold. 68 for Roddy. 31 for Uriah. And then a 63 rated main event, because of course it's only 5 minutes. But Javon Evans does retain the Speed Championship over Oro Mensah. It says 5:01, that's funny. I guess 4:58. 64 for Javon Evans, 72 for Oro Mensah. So yeah. Next week we'll see the start of a new Speed Championship tournament as well, because, that's how Speed works. I'm going to stick loyal to the Speed. I don't know. I've had this debate with myself about, because they've got a Speed Women's Championship IRL. And I was like, should I also do a Speed Women's Championship? I'm leaning currently towards no, for a plethora of reasons. One, Velocity is a men's show, and putting women on it would be weird, even though they probably are cruiserweights, most of them. Two, that's just too much speed, I think, because I know they rotate in real life, they do a men's tournament, then a women's tournament, and back-to-back, but I'd want to do both at the same time. And C, well, there's already a women's Midcard Championship, and there may be more in the works. So, yeah. I'm currently leaning towards no on a Speed Women's Championship because, yeah. It also, though, I guess I could do it so it could take place on Heat. Like, the Speed Women's Championship tournament could take place on Heat. But, again, no, at the minute, I'm just leaning towards no. But, yeah, Javon Evans does retain anyway. He's not dropping in his first defense. Even though Ora Mensah has found himself, stepping up recently. 6-8 show. All on a come down after that fucking fire opener. But yeah, what matters was what you thought of the show, mainly of SmackDown. Do know what you thought in the comments below, and I'll see you next time for Raw, where they're on the build to their TV special, Unforgiven, which is the week after next. See you then.